Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. That question was finally answered when faster-than-light travel was discovered and Earth made first contact with alien civilizations. Soon after, humans were invited to join the Galactic Council, a grand assembly where hundreds of species worked together to maintain peace in the galaxy. At first, humans were excited. They believed this would be the start of a new golden age, where knowledge and friendship would be shared with advanced alien races. But reality turned out to be different. The moment humans stepped into the council hall, they felt the stares. Tall, insectoid beings clicked their mandibles in amusement, reptilian aliens hissed soft laughter, and even the elegant avian species tilted their heads in mocking curiosity. Humans were small, fragile, and weak, compared to almost every species present. Whenever Captain Elias Ward, the young human representative, spoke, the council often ignored him. One insectoid ambassador once said loudly, "Why do we need them? They are just soft animals from a low-gravity world. Their bodies break so easily." Elias clenched his jaw but stayed calm. Humans had endured insults before, but it was clear. The galaxy saw humans as a joke. Over time, humans were only given simple diplomatic duties. They were never invited to military discussions, never asked for advice, and were treated as if they were children. Some aliens openly mocked Earth's history of war. "Your people fight each other more than any other race. How primitive," a reptilian general once said, laughing with his peers. What none of them understood was that humanity's long history of conflict had shaped them into something special. Humans were not the strongest or the fastest, but they were adaptable, clever, and stubborn. Elias knew this truth. But he also knew that trying to prove it now would only make the council laugh harder. The turning point came when news arrived of a new enemy, a ruthless empire called the Dravari. They were conquerors, enslaving planets, one after another. The council debated endlessly about how to deal with them, but no one took action. Then came the day that changed everything. The Dravari attacked Kepler 92, one of Earth's new colonies. The human outpost was small and poorly defended. Elias immediately requested help from the council, begging them to send fleets to protect innocent civilians, but the other species refused. "Your world is not worth the risk," one ambassador said coldly. "If the Dravari want it, they will. Take it. You cannot stop them." Elias stared at the council, his heart heavy with anger and disappointment. He realized that humanity was alone. The galaxy truly believed that Earth would surrender without a fight, but they were wrong. Far away, as Dravari warships approached Kepler 92, human soldiers and colonists prepared to defend themselves. They had few ships and outdated weapons, but they refused to give up. Captain Elias Ward made a choice that would change humanity's destiny forever. "We fight," he told his crew. "If no one will stand with us, then we stand alone, and we will show the galaxy who we really are." That day, the Laughingstock of the galaxy began to write a new story, one that would be remembered for centuries. The colony on Kepler 92 was a peaceful place. Families had built homes under the bright twin suns, and farmers worked hard to grow crops in the fertile soil. Children played near the silver rivers, never thinking that war would one day come to their world. That peace ended when the Dravari fleet appeared in orbit. Their ships were dark and sharp, like blades in the sky. The colonists stared upward in fear as alarms rang across the settlements. The United Earth fleet stationed nearby had only 3 old frigates and a few small fighters, hardly enough to stand against a powerful enemy. On board the flagship UES Resolute, Captain Elias Ward stood on the command deck, looking at the holographic display of incoming enemy ships. His officers exchanged worried glances. "They outnumber us 10-1, said Commander Arya Blake, his second in command. "I know," Elias replied, his voice steady. "But we are all that stands between them and thousands of innocent lives. We fight!" The crew nodded silently. No one spoke of retreat. As the Dravari began their assault, the humans launched their fighters and prepared for battle. The first clash was brutal. Alien plasma cannons tore through one of the frigates, destroying it in a burst of fire. But instead of surrendering, human pilots started using unconventional tactics, flying dangerously close to enemy ships, dropping explosives at point-blank range, and even luring Dravari fighters into the colony's atmosphere, where the thicker air made it harder for the invaders to maneuver. The Council watched from afar, shocked by the live transmissions. The insectoid ambassador who once mocked humans clicked his mandibles nervously. They are reckless. Why are they not retreating? They are not like us, said a quiet avian diplomat, watching the humans with new eyes, despite their bravery. The humans were slowly being overwhelmed. The Dravari flagship unleashed a massive energy blast, crippling the last frigate's engines. The colony was moments away from destruction. Then Elias gave an order that stunned even his own. "Crew, divert all remaining power to the railgun. We'll fire directly at their flagship's core." "But, sir, that will destroy us too," Arya whispered. Elias looked at her, his eyes firm. "Better to fall fighting than to bow to conquerors." The Resolute's railgun fired one final shot. The massive projectile ripped through the Dravari flagship, triggering a chain reaction of explosions. The enemy fleet, shocked by the sudden loss of their command ship, began to retreat. The humans had won the impossible battle, but at a terrible cost. 2 frigates were lost, and half the fighters had been destroyed. Still, the colony had survived. News of the battle spread across the galaxy in hours. Species that once laughed at humans now spoke in disbelief. How could such a weak race defeat a superior fleet with so few ships? The Dravari, humiliated by the loss, swore vengeance. They began preparing for a full-scale invasion of human worlds. Meanwhile, the United Earth Fleet studied the wreckage of the destroyed Dravari ships. Scientists and engineers worked day and night, taking apart alien technology and learning how it worked. Humans, once mocked for being primitive, were now adapting faster than anyone expected. Elias, recovering from his injuries aboard a medical station, watched the galaxy's reaction to the battle. For the first time, there was silence in the council. Chamber. No one mocked humans now, though many still believed the victory was only luck. But Elias knew the truth. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly to Arya. "They think we can't win a war. We're going to prove them wrong." Far away, the Dravari Emperor slammed his clawed fist against the throne. "Prepare the fleets," he growled. "These humans will learn to fear us." Neither side realized that the next battles would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The wreckage of the Dravari ships was taken to secret research stations across Earth and its colonies. Human engineers and scientists worked day and night, studying every piece of alien technology. They were amazed at the advanced plasma weapons, energy shields, and faster engines the Dravari used. What surprised the galaxy was not that humans studied the technology, it was how fast they adapted it. Within weeks, prototypes of new weapons were already being tested. Old human ships were upgraded with alien tech, becoming faster, stronger, and deadlier. On Earth, factories that once made civilian goods were converted to build new warships. Thousands of volunteers joined the United Earth Fleet, ready to fight for their homes. Humanity's long history of war had given them a unique skill, the ability to mobilize quickly and improvise under pressure. Captain Elias Ward, now promoted to Fleet Commander, returned to duty after recovering from his injuries. He was no longer just a young representative in the council. He had become a symbol of human courage. Soldiers looked up to him, and even alien species started to respect his determination. "Commander Ward," said Arya Blake, now his trusted advisor, "our new ships are ready for testing. We have reverse-engineered their plasma cannons and installed hybrid engines. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Elias smiled. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to win battles. The next Dravari attack came swiftly, targeting another human colony. But this time, the United Earth Fleet met them with newly upgraded ships. The battle was fierce, but humans used clever strategies, hiding ships behind moons, luring Dravari vessels into traps, and striking where the enemy least expected. The Dravari commanders were shocked. How can they adapt so fast? One of them hissed in disbelief. They were supposed to be weak! One by one, human victories began to spread across the galaxy. Colonies that had once been captured were liberated by human soldiers, who fought with a level of courage and unity that inspired even alien resistance movements. Stories of human bravery spread everywhere. Tales of pilots sacrificing their ships to protect civilians and soldiers refusing to surrender even when surrounded became legends. The same aliens who once mocked humans now whispered in awe. They never give up. Some alien species even began secretly aiding humanity, smuggling supplies and sharing intelligence about Dravari fleets. For the first time, the galaxy started to see humans not as weaklings, but as a rising power that refused to be crushed. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council, debates grew heated. The same ambassadors who once laughed at humans now feared that if humanity won this war, they might become too powerful. But there were also voices of support, species who believed humans were fighting not just for themselves, but for freedom in the galaxy. Elias ignored the politics. He focused on preparing for the inevitable counterattack. They will come for Earth, Arya warned him as they stood in the command center. I know, Elias said quietly, and when they do, we'll be ready. Deep within Dravari space, the Emperor was furious. Every defeat made him more determined to crush humanity once and for all. These creatures are stubborn like vermin, he growled. Gather the Grand Fleet. We will burn their homeworld to ash. Across human space, people prepared for the worst. New fleets were built, soldiers trained harder than ever, and weapons were stockpiled. Humanity knew that the next battle would decide everything. But fear was not what drove them anymore. It was hope. Hope that they could protect their families, their worlds, and their future. And so, the galaxy watched in silence. The species that had once mocked humans now held their breath, waiting to see if the so-called weakest race could stand against the greatest empire the galaxy had ever known. The final showdown was coming. The warning came like a thunderclap. The Dravari Grand Fleet was heading for Earth. Dozens of massive warships, supported by hundreds of smaller vessels, crossed human-controlled space, destroying outposts along the way. The Council watched, but offered no help. Many believed humanity would finally fall. On Earth, panic spread at first, but then something remarkable happened. People united. Factories worked non-stop. Volunteers flooded military bases, and even retired soldiers returned to serve. Farmers donated supplies, engineers repaired damaged ships, and scientists risked everything to make new weapons ready in time. In orbit above Earth, the largest human fleet ever assembled waited. Hundreds of ships, some brand new, others hastily rebuilt, lined up under Fleet Commander Elias Ward's command. Arya Blake stood beside him on the bridge of the UES Resolute, now fully upgraded with alien technology. They outnumber us 2-1, Arya said, looking at the tactical display. Elias nodded calmly. Then we just have to fight smarter. We've always done more with less. The Dravari Grand Fleet arrived like a storm. Their warships blotted out the stars, and their energy weapons lit up the void. The battle began instantly, blinding flashes of plasma, missiles streaking across space, and explosions tearing through ships on both sides. The humans used every trick they had learned from previous battles. Decoy drones confused enemy targeting systems. Smaller ships darted between massive Dravari vessels, striking weak points before retreating. In orbit around the moon, hidden railgun platforms fired devastating shots into enemy formations. But the Dravari were powerful and relentless. Human ships exploded one after another. The enemy flagship, a colossal warship called Blood Fang, pushed forward, destroying everything in its path. "We can't hold them much longer," Arya warned, her voice tense. Elias stared at the battlefield. Then an idea formed. A desperate gamble that could change everything. "Order the fleet to fall back toward Earth's atmosphere," he commanded. "What?" "That's suicide," Arya protested. "They'll follow us. And when they do, we'll use Earth itself as our weapon," Elias said firmly. The plan was risky, but the fleet obeyed. Human ships retreated toward the planet, luring the Dravari into the upper atmosphere. As enemy ships descended, their massive size made it difficult to maneuver. Human fighters, faster and more agile, struck from the clouds, ambushing enemy vessels at close range. Then, the final phase of the plan began. "Activate the orbital defense grid," Elias ordered. From hidden bases on Earth's surface, powerful energy cannons fired into the sky, striking enemy ships that had flown too close. Dravari vessels exploded in fireballs that rained debris into the oceans below. Still, the battle was far from over. The Bloodfang pushed through the chaos, heading straight for Earth. Elias knew this was their last chance. "All ships, focus fire on their flagship," he commanded. The humans launched everything they had, missiles, railgun slugs, plasma beams, until finally a massive explosion ripped through the Bloodfang's core. The flagship broke apart in a fiery blaze, shaking the entire battlefield. Seeing their leader destroyed, the remaining Dravari ships began to retreat. Cheers erupted across the fleet, but the celebration was brief. Hundreds of human ships were gone, and thousands of brave soldiers had given their lives to defend their home. As the smoke cleared, Elias stood silently on the bridge, staring at the blue planet below. "We held the line," Arya said softly, standing beside him. Elias nodded, his voice heavy with both pride and sorrow. "They thought we would break, but they were wrong. The battle for Earth was over. Humanity had won, but the cost of victory was clear. Across the galaxy, species that had once laughed at humans now watched in awe. The weak race had defeated one of the strongest empires in known space, and for the first time, the galaxy began to wonder, if humans could survive this, what else were they capable of? The war was over. The Dravari had been defeated, their fleet shattered, and their empire forced to retreat into the darkness of space. But the victory was more than just a battle won. It was a moment that changed everything for humanity. Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. No longer were humans seen as weak or foolish. Instead, they were called the unyielding species. Stories of their courage, their refusal to give up, and their fierce defense of their homeworlds inspired. Many Captain Elias Ward stood on the balcony of the newly rebuilt United Earth Fleet headquarters, looking out at the stars. The once young and uncertain diplomat was now a leader respected by both humans and aliens alike. The Galactic Council had called an emergency session to discuss the new place humanity would have in the galaxy. The same ambassadors who had mocked Earth's people before now spoke with respect and even a hint of fear. The insectoid ambassador who once called humans soft animals now said, "We underestimated them. We will not make that mistake again." Humanity was invited to take a seat among the Council's leading powers. Earth was recognized as a vital part of the galaxy's defense and future. But Elias knew that this new respect was not just about power. It was about the spirit of humanity, their courage, their determination, and their ability to rise even when the odds were against them. Back on Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Cities rebuilt their damaged buildings, families reunited, and children once again played under the bright sun. But something had changed in every human heart. They knew that their species was stronger than anyone had believed. The soldiers who fought in the war became heroes. Their stories were told in schools, in books, and around campfires. People remembered how a few ships, a few brave pilots, and a strong will had stood against the mightiest empire the galaxy had known. Elias visited many colonies that had been freed from Dravari control. He met resistance fighters, survivors, and leaders who told him how humanity's fight gave them hope and strength. "You showed us that no matter how dark the night, we can find the light," one leader told him. Elias smiled. "We fight because we believe in a better future, and we never give up." The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Strength is not only measured by power or numbers, but by heart and spirit, and humans had plenty of both. As the sun set over Earth's horizon, Elias thought about the journey humanity had taken, from the laughingstock of the galaxy to its protectors. He knew that challenges would come again, but he also knew one thing for sure: humans would never be mocked again. They were legends now, and their story was only just beginning.